I walk you through building the Smoke Hollow 4-in-1 grill.
Okay, so I could not find any tutorials videos for putting together the 4-in-1 Smoke Hollow grill. Here, I'll show you a picture. Bought it at Sam's, $320, I think it was on sale. So can't go wrong for 300 bucks. Read a lot of the reviews. They're all mixed reviews, of course. People that bought this thinking that it was going to be, you know, some fantastic grill to solve all their problems. Of course, they're going to rate it low. This is a $300 grill, made in China. Like, what do you want? So based upon those reviews, people did say it was actually a really good grill, especially if you put it together correctly. So unfortunately, it's a lot of instructions and there's so many parts. I'll show you guys here in a second. So here's some of the parts. If you just notice, so many parts. And when I start to get to building this thing, the instructions, just trying to find the starting piece, number 9, because they're not all numbered, I had to rip open up other boxes and other boxes. See, there's more parts, more parts. There's more parts over there, more parts over here. I do got to say that they did at least label all of their stuff properly, so that's good. More parts over here. So what I did is actually I found some of the parts that was missing in some of the boxes that were inside of these things. You actually have to open these up and then find more crap for you to assemble. So let's get started. First things first is you want to find the flat box, that one, and you're going to find the drip pan right here. If you notice, it's got bowed. This is actually going to bow towards you. So if you notice, I put on the styrofoam like it tells you to, and the grill is upside down. So then it bows upwards a little bit. And then all of these should align properly. Okay? Okay, so the first page was installing the drip tray, and then you're going to install these hangers. And if you notice, that's the front. So you're going to install it on the back, and you're going to install the screws that way. And then they will secure the hangers with the triangle point pointing down. And then the second page is installing the legs. So if you're looking at it from the back on the drip tray, you have 50, 49, 44, 43. And then the third page is going to be in the drip tray guide right here. And you're going to have one screw on the back side and then one down there. And then you're going to do the drip tray guide here with the two right there, and then you're going to have the one over here, which you're going to install those two and these two. And I haven't done it yet because I wanted to show you this. When you put this guide rack on it, the plate, you need to actually slide it in here, and then it's going to slide down over this side, and it's going to fit. So if you notice, you've got the little cutouts that all fit properly. That way there's only one way to put this in, so don't force anything. Okay, it's starting to get dark out, but if you notice, it looks like I've done a lot, but I actually, since we installed this, all we did in the legs, all we did is put the casters on the mounts, and if you notice, there's a nut in there that you'll use the tool that came with it just to tighten it up. Pretty simple. And then you put it on here, and I thought you needed 2 people, but you only need 1, because the legs, if you rest this on here, this will actually sit on the legs itself, so it just holds itself up, and then you can put in the screws. The screws have actually been going in pretty damn well. I've been able to finger tighten pretty much all of them. I do use an impact wrench right there. I would recommend having one of those also, but this is where I got a headache, was installing the drawer cabinet. This thing is free floating, and you're gonna have to line up all of the holes everywhere on all of the pieces, and it's rather frustrating. But once you get that done, then you disassemble the back piece right here, and that's it. Since we don't have any more light. Okay, so I kind of lied. I said I would wait until morning, but we got the lights on. So what I've done so far is we've attached the ends, okay, and then put on the handles, which has the screw already connected to it, so you don't need to go to the tool bag and get the screws out of there. We did the thermometer. Is it thermometer? Is it thermostat? Is it thermometer? I don't know. And then we put the smoker vent, which you're supposed to take this cap off and then you install it, but it's got an opening, so I don't like how they did it this way, because it doesn't make sense weather-wise, because water can seep in and then it'll corrode the metal when it gets stuck between the flashing here and your housing. It'll just get stuck in there and then corrode the metal. But this is how they say they want it done. So there you go. Luckily mine will be under protection most of the time, so I don't have to worry about it, but just food for thought. And then we had to install these, which was kind of a butt. This one was fine, but this one, when you guys get to this one, you're gonna have to put this housing. So when you put the ignition control module on here, you need to bring this all the way through and out the side right there. I had it all in there. This was freaking difficult to get in, but once we were able to push it in this hole, I left it in this way, and then we installed this, realizing that now we can't get that through, so I had to take this off and then push it through and then put this back on. So make sure that you do it through that hole first, all of it, and then you can put this on. We then put this in, supposed to put the one screw, make sure that it's fully inside the tube housing, and then you have those wires that come out, and you connect those wires to the ignition housing right there. This wire was not shaped correctly. I'm hoping that it works. I hate to take things back after assembling them and spending all hours assembling things and realizing it doesn't work because it was cheaply made. That's very frustrating. So I'll let you guys know if everything's a-okay or not on that. Okay, so we finally finished. It did take a long time, I gotta say. Frustrating parts was getting this put in, getting that all installed, seeing as how that infrared burner actually doesn't fit right. They have it installed and you have to completely uninstall it to get it to fit all in. It's kind of frustrating. The only gripe I have though is just this. I don't like wiggle. If you notice, these don't actually wiggle. They're pretty well fit. This one wiggles like crazy. Other than that, not bad. Putting this together, because you have to put this together. This is how you do it. So these little nodules stick out. I kind of had to hammer some of the corners together to make them fit right, and then just using an impact wrench drove it in, and it did pretty well. The only other gripe too is this just feels cheap, and it's not very high off the bottom, so it's not going to feed smoke really well. So I might have to put it up on some thin bricks so we can get some airflow underneath. Added the chain. It tells you to unscrew this so we can add the chain back on, which is kind of like, what the hell? But igniter, everything's working. Here's the tough part. So just follow the instructions that are in your booklet to the T, but you're going to get what does not, it gets confusing, they do not go over, is how to set up all of those plugs. There's the black feed electrical wires that feed into the ignition, the igniters, and if you can see underneath, there's that housing right there. That's where all the electrical wires come out of. They're all not properly labeled, so they do have different lengths, and the longest one is going to feed through here and then up into right there, and then it plugs right in to your infrared burner, your sear burner. Getting this thing mounted and getting the tube inside of there, and then getting it to feed here, and then putting the plate on and screwing it in, worst experience of all of this. But besides that, now that it's all done, took me about 3 hours to complete. I would say I will never do this again, but for 300 bucks, can't go wrong. I would never spend more than 400 on this, absolutely not.